What's up YouTube? Welcome to my channel. In this one we're going to make a cool knife similar to this one right here that I made. But the one that we're going to be making is going to have a convex grind. Other than that, it'll be pretty much the same. So let's get right into it. Okay, profile shape cut out and smoothed, holes drilled. Now it's time for marking and bevel grinding. This is going to be a convex grind. So what I'm going to do is grind it just flat before heat treat, and then I'm going to put the convexing on the edge after heat treat. And now I'm going to grind the primary bevel. And here's what I'm working with pre-heat treat. I went and dropped off the knife at Metal Ex Thermal Specialties. They're a business that's local to me. They heat treated the knife for me to 60 HRC, and I'm starting to clean it up right now. Next I'm going to do the finish grinding, and then I can put the convex on the edge. Here's the knife after a bit of grinding. It's up to a 220 grit finish. And now it's time to start convexing the edge. So I'm gonna have to get myself a center line, and we're gonna use the slack. But before I start hand sanding, I'm just gonna start to get the bolsters fitted up. So I've cut out 2 pieces of this 1/4 inch thick brass. I flattened one side of each piece on just a piece of sandpaper on a granite block. And so I'm gonna super glue these 2 pieces together, and then super glue that to the blade, and then drill holes through the existing ones in the tang. Now I can break off this brass in one piece. And here's the finish on the blade after I'm completely done hand sanding. I'm actually going to go ahead and sharpen it now on an 800 grit belt. Then I'll give it a quick strop. And now with some lines marked on my piece of brass, I'm gonna start grinding it. I went ahead and broke these apart just by clamping one side in the vise and tapping the other side with a hammer. Now I need to sand all this super glue off. All right, here it is with the bolsters peened on. I just got to let the epoxy cure. And the epoxy is cured. Now I'm just going to clean this up a little bit, grind it down to the tang, and grind off the pins. Okay, I've got some rosewood here for my handle material. It's roughly cut out and flattened here and squared up. So I'm going to temporarily super glue it to the tang so I can start drilling my holes. Time for epoxy. Okay, I went ahead and epoxied the knife together. It's now cured, so it can go in on the grinder and flatten and square up everything, and then I can start shaping the handle. All right, so I've done a lot of hand sanding. Currently, everything is at 800 grit. What I'm going to do is bring the bolsters up to 2000 and then buff them. The rosewood is going to stay at 800. Okay, I have the bolsters polished. Now I'm going to put a stain on the rosewood. And now I'm going to add my handle finish, which is true oil. I'll put a little bit of mineral oil on the blade. And here it is, the project's done. Here's the knife fully complete. I'm really happy with it. My biggest mistake on this project was I should have ground the bolsters down thinner before peening them, because the pins are showing up a little bit. You can see that epoxy ring there, which is not really gonna, it's not gonna affect the durability of the knife really, but it's a little cosmetic thing. But what I'm really happy about on this knife is the blade finish and the consistency of the convex grind there. And also the handle kind of naturally evolved to be a bit thinner and more rounded than the first iteration of this design. And I was able to make the handle nice and rounded, while also being symmetrical and having not really any protrusions at these transitions between the brass and the wood. It's nice and smooth. Also, I made this leather sheath for it, which I didn't film. It's made of 9-ounce vegetable tanned cowhide. It's a good thick sheath. I'd like to thank Matt for commissioning this knife for me. It was a lot of fun to build, and I hope you can get some good use out of it. And that's going to be the end of this video. Thank you for watching it all the way through, and goodbye.